Right, bruv, right. Welcome to the studio. First of all, I just want to let you know congratulations on your accomplishments. Second, I want to let you know to buckle in tight because we are about to take some wicked naughty photos of you, brother.
Okay, sounds good, man.
Right. Really just want you to show me some more emotion, brother. I just want you to feel it and just dig deep in there, mate.
All right, so something a bit more like this?
Oh, precisely. Keep working it for me, mate. Just keep working it for me. Okay, perfect. That is gonna be £1,000, mate, up front.
A thousand quid? 1,000?
Yeah, cold hard cash, bruv. This is ping art that we're doing here.
It was hardly a couple of photos, man. Like, I do want to pay you, but I mean, can I just see what they look like first?
A magic man never reveals his secrets now, does he, mate? So long as you're done taking the piss, I've got a shoot with a bloody Brazilian supermodel down the way. So hand over the Benjamins proper quick, mate. I don't know why big numbers tend to shock blokes like you. You've done dropped your life savings on that degree there, and that's not including textbooks, supplies, booze, transportation, and whatever else you university psychos love to drop your cash on. Knowledge is power though, right? I mean, you could have just bloody learned it on YouTube, mate.
Here, just listen, I get it. Here's your money, dude. Just take it. Should you go to college as a creative? This is a really tricky one for me because I have very mixed feelings and honestly a pretty complex relationship with college. Before I dive into my experience and my opinion on the matter in general, I should give a quick disclaimer that this is obviously aimed at creatives like filmmakers, photographers, traditional artists, etc. I don't want to come off like I'm bashing it at any point. You know, college and education in general is a privilege and I'm very thankful for the opportunity. That being said, if you aren't in a field like medical, law, criminal justice, or anything like that, I wouldn't go, period. And I have 3 quick and no nonsense reasons for that. And I also have a big but at the end that may serve as a bit of an alternative, so be sure to stick around. Reason number 1 is the obvious one, which is money. College, even community college, is expensive to say the very least, and our hobbies are also very expensive. The short answer is, I think that it's more worthwhile to put that cash into the tools that you need to kickstart your hobby and start making money from it and turning it into a career. Even if you were going to leverage credit and get loans, I think it would be a smarter move to spend it on those tools rather than the education. If you spend it in a smart and realistic way, you shouldn't be hitting anywhere near the kind of numbers that college is going to rack up against you. And you may have more options for credit and interest rates and all of that. Student loans are a massive beast that can come back to haunt you for decades very quickly. The last point I'll make here is that I simply don't think it's worth the money, no matter where you go. Community or university, in-state or out, there are just too many free or cheap in comparison alternatives that are much more laser focused on getting you exactly where you need to be. And this leads me right into reason number 2, and that is that there are many other and better options. I can almost guarantee that there are plenty of people in your desired field that have already blazed the trail in order to figure out what works and have bottled it up into some sort of product like a course that you can consume in weeks or months as opposed to years like college, which is just absolutely packed to the brim with meaningless filler classes and just waiting to get to the meat. It's an easy Google search to get into the knowledge industry and kind of start looking at what would work for you. For instance, if you're here, you may be a filmmaker. A mentor that I have learned from and have paid for knowledge from is Parker Walbeck, who runs Full-Time Filmmaker. Parker has taught me more than any professor, any class, or pretty much anything else that I've tried. His course is packed with gems and it's all meat and no fat. It is hyper-focused and can be completed in a fraction of the time as college, and it costs a fraction of a single semester of community college. With that, college offers no return on investment and no guarantees. Granted, neither do courses or other products, but they can be paid off much faster. And speaking of time, reason number 3 is just that, specifically your time. When there are other options that are less expensive, it makes no logical sense to spend years more than you need to learn what you need to know. Before you get to anything at all related to what you're paying to go to school for, you have to take a handful of meaningless general education classes like math and English, and it's like we spent enough time still going deeper into that than we needed to in high school, so we don't need more. And once you finally get to the good stuff, it's hardly hands-on and truly meaningful. Spend those years hitting the ground running and getting the experience. Shoot some garbage videos or make some garbage music and get the lemons behind you in what would be your freshman and sophomore years. And come out in what would be your junior and senior year as a fairly experienced professional. Don't let anyone tell you that it takes 5 or 10 or however many years to be a pro. Once you know the essentials and get paid, you're a pro. Can you work on your craft in your free time while in college? Yes, but you have a lot less of that free time and you are pretty much paying for college by the hour in the meantime. A middle ground here is community school. Get your 2-year degree instead of a bachelor's. It's something for the resume that's cheaper and could potentially set you apart with employers. Before I get into the but, I do want to offer a 4th bonus tip, which is your passion. This won't apply to everyone, but it will to people who think and kind of deal with things like I do. When things that I love become work, they're no longer things that I love. Once you put tests and grades and thousands upon thousands of dollars into something, it can really drain you and make you never want to look at what once was your hobby ever again. That really isn't healthy, and some will say that it can be a good way to find what you don't want to do, but I could probably think of 10 better ways to do that, and that's for another video. So let's get into the but. For some quick and dirty background, I went to a high school for arts essentially. It allowed you to major in certain programs like art or digital art or entertainment technology and that kind of stuff. I really loved it there, and they had a deal called the Bridge program with a local community college where if you finished with a certain GPA, you'd have X amount of credits towards the related college major. I was there for digital art, and they had a bridge program for digital art at the college, and that was one of the main reasons I decided to go. The other reason I decided to go was because it was free. Scholarships vary by state, but in South Carolina we have what's called the Life Scholarship, which gave me a certain amount of money towards school every semester. I qualified, and the amount that it gave me was more than what the college charged, so I ended up making money each semester, which was fantastic. It's what first got me financially stable and really kind of kicked off my savings account. The last reason that I went was because, like many, I really felt like I had to. I wasn't into video yet at this point, but I knew that I loved photography, and I heard that the digital art major had a photo class, and I knew design was more practical, so I did it. And I went the safe route and got a 2-year degree. There was another bridge program to a local university where I could have gotten my bachelor's, but my scholarship wouldn't have covered the whole thing, and I just wasn't going to take out loans. That wasn't an option to me. I'm obviously not doing much with my design degree right now at all. It's a great skill to have, but I could have learned it in a couple of months. And while I'm extremely thankful for that extra money that I got and for the fact that my college experience was free, I will never get those 2 years of my time back. My situation is very unique, obviously. Very few will end up actually being paid to go to school, and that may not even be worth it to you still. It all comes down to doing what you want to do. Do not go because you feel like you have to or because you think it's the safe route. Get a part-time job and either keep crashing with your parents if they'll let you, or cram into an apartment or a small house with several roommates and have cheap rent while you keep working on nurturing that passion. Or go to college because it's what you really want to do with your life. Even though I think the tides are changing, candidates with a college degree will probably mostly get hired over candidates without them. And it sucks, but it's something to think about and consider. Personally, I think the portfolio is king, and you could spend those years doing free or cheap work in your free time and put together an awesome portfolio that will run laps around someone that is fresh out of college. Some also just really want that traditional university experience. The football games, the clubs, the frats and the sororities. I personally couldn't care less about any of that, and it just wasn't for me. At my little community school, I did my thing each day and I got back out. If I were a senior in high school about to graduate right now, would I still go to college? Probably not, but that's easier said than done, and I really suggest that you think and pray on it and go with your gut ultimately. A thought that I'll leave you with is that college is literally always there. You can always go. And like I said, it's a privilege. So you can't always grind it out and chase those dreams that you have early on. And as a soon-to-be 24-year-old that feels like I'm still 19 sometimes, life comes at you insanely fast. So find a balance and make the most of it, whichever route you go. I know this video was a bit more heavy, but remember, it's just my opinion. It's not the gospel. Take it all with a grain of salt and do whatever you want to do. If you're a senior in high school or someone who took a gap year that's considering college, or someone that went to college and loved it or hated it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and have some dialogue on it in the comments. Thanks a ton for watching. I really appreciate the support. I want you to remember that you are blessed and you are loved, and as always, I'll be back soon.
This film was directed by me. Good night.